Hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about tropes and schemes. Wonderful for junior students preparing for the Language and Composition AP test. Hi, today we're going to be talking about tropes and schemes. This is a wonderful topic for junior AP students preparing for the Language and Composition AP exam. This is necessary information, guys. So first of all, tropes. This occurs when you have a shift in meaning from the ordinary use of words. And there are numerous different kinds, including metaphors and similes, synecdoche, personification, solipsis, anthemeria, and hyperbole and illitotes. Schemes are unusual arrangements of words which can be categorized as schemes of balance, schemes of omission, schemes of unusual word order, schemes of repetition. So let's look at schemes of balance for a second. When you have things in a sentence, and remember syntax is the way that you build a sentence with the building blocks, which are your words and phrases and clauses. When you want to have balance, then the parts of the sentence need to have equal weight. One way to achieve this is through the use of parallelism. Here you have a balanced parallel side-by-side structure. Another method to achieve balance is through antithesis. And here you have opposites at play, two opposites that are balanced. And we have some examples here. Schemes of omission, ellipsis, and asyndeton. Ellipsis, you have a sample here where you have the ellipsis with the word that in the quotations. And asyndeton is the omission of conjunctions, of course. So you see this example here. You could take a second and read that. So a note here about polysyndeton. You have an abundance of conjunctions if you have polysyndeton. We just looked at asyndeton, which is an omission. So remember, A is that prefix, like anaerobic organism means without oxygen. So apathy, the A shows a lack of feeling. So asyndeton is without because of the A prefix there. So that would be without the conjunctions. And poly is the prefix meaning many. Numerous amounts, copious amounts of things, more than one, multiples. And so polysyndeton would mean a lot of conjunctions. Your eyes glaze and wander and find, so on and so forth. Another thing that we need to examine would be schemes of unusual word order. This would be, here again, if we think about the analogy of a sentence being built like a house, the schemes of unusual word order would be where the placement of the brick and the mortar, so to speak, would go in the sentence, moving things around from the beginning to the middle to the end for emphasis or for other reasons. And we have examples here with anastrophe, parentheses, hyperbation. Familiar schemes of repetition would be alliteration, assonance and consonants, rhyme scheme, either internal rhyme or end rhyme, and chiasmus. The example it provides, it represents what you've been doing with your work life and what your work life has been doing to you. Fun little device to use there with playing with those words for repetition. There's a couple of extra ones here. I think on this list, anaphora is the one I have seen most often on the AP test. Um, the others, maybe even epistrophe, you will see those sometimes in the multiple choice. So I think that those are important to know. And they should be on your AP vocabulary list of terms that you need to know. Anadiplosis, tricolon, these are some new ones that are gaining popularity, also on your list. Watch out for the arrangement of items, and we have examples here. He, the contemporary man, has seen the ravages of war. He has known natural catastrophes. He has been to singles bars. The arrangement there is that he builds and at the end leaves us with the point that he's trying to make for the humor. Deliberate equals source of humor, and accidental equal problems of tone and meaning. It's important to make your passages memorable with sayings like a penny saved is a penny earned. One who is frugal with one's income discovers that saving the money one earns is as good as a means of increasing income as earning money. I think you can see which one is definitely the one that would be easier to remember. It's kind of like the current trend of memes that you see. Sometimes just a short picture with the words is easier to remember than a long explanation might be. Compare these pairs. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. As times go, it seemed okay, but I knew there were serious problems. Or, these are times that try men's souls. Soul-wise, these times are tough. More conspicuous construction. We had an early spring. The cherry blossoms came out 3 weeks before they were expected. Temperatures hit 28. Then, of course, it snowed. So I think the juxtaposition of the visions and then the extreme weather, the sequencing that they use in that sentence certainly brings light to their unusual circumstance. We have revisions, and we'll come back and spend a little bit more time with these also later. And it's important to note the voice in your piece that you're examining when you're doing analysis. It's important to see who is speaking, who are they speaking to. I can see their feigned guilt as they shuffle in after the buzzer rings. My hand pauses only for a second on the chalkboard, but I've lost my rhythm. I don't wait. I refuse to wait. So I think it's very clear, the voice in this passage. We see that it's the instructor, the teacher in the classroom waiting for students to arrive and beginning lessons on time. Conspicuous style, advantages, disadvantages. We need to be aware of these, especially when we're creating our own writing, in addition to doing analysis of the pieces that we're reading. Sometimes the advantages of a conspicuous style is it can seem witty and sophisticated, as with the Woody Allen example we saw earlier, implies vision and insight, provides emotional and ethical appeal, and we know we always need to appeal to logos, pathos, ethos, those three types of appeals whenever we have arguments or points that we are trying to convince the reader of something. So that's a wonderful tool to use in these cases. The pleasure of self-conscious expression. Now these would be advantages to kind of help us balance it with other things and to police our use of these tools. Please remember the disadvantages could be that it might seem flamboyant or pretentious, and I think that's something that most people don't want to hear in the reading. It may not be clear, it may seem too much like entertainment, you could run into problems like that. So just be aware of that as you go. When it could be appropriate would be on significant occasions to elevate topics, to create humor in literary writing, or to support the meaning and sense of a particular occasion. There are many things that you need to consider about what to avoid. The creative genius style. You're going to get a handout about this. I think it's called the 7 Evil Geniuses, and these are. It's a packet that has further discussion of what this slide is addressing in particular about flaws that people can use, even though there's no grammatical error or anything like that. The style of writing, the way that they phrase their phraseology, their construction of the sentence, for one reason or another, we'll be looking at those flaws that you can have in your writing that are certainly going to work against you. The inconspicuous style has advantages. It will seem straightforward and businesslike, sincere and unpretentious, suggests confidence and truth of one's ideas, and it kind of speaks for itself. Disadvantage may seem passionless, artless, or mundane, maybe just kind of more like boring technical writing, or it may simply imply a lack of enthusiasm, sacrifices attraction of language, diminishes opportunity for an ethical appeal. So there would be reasons to use an inconspicuous style, but if you certainly have the ability to write with that flair, why not flex your muscles a little bit and put it to good use? When it may be appropriate, when the truth seems self-evident, when accuracy is crucial, when you want to appear mature and dignified, honest and open, and when you wish to remove social barriers. And so finally, in the end, I think the debate between transparent and ornate language must lie with the individual. And you have to determine where your strengths are, what you're comfortable with, and kind of the direction that you want to take your piece of writing. When you're doing literary analysis, you should certainly be aware of the author's intentions, what they're trying to do, whether you think they are trying to be transparent or ornate, who they're speaking to. All of those factors come into play. So I hope this has been a nice introduction to tropes and schemes, which basically is syntax and diction analysis for the writer and for the reader. And through analyzing syntax and diction, you're going to be able to understand the piece and create some very effective writing. All right, good luck.